Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having an unbelievable start to your week. It has definitely been a good start for us here, for me in particular. And I want to encourage you, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're going through, if you are still breathing, you are still in the fight. And that's all you need is to still be in the fight. It's about how far, how hard, how consistently you're willing to go after something, and that's going to determine. So that is that. Before I get started, today is Money Monday, and we're going to talk about something that I'm really uh, passionate about. And if you follow me, you know that I am. It's so important. It has literally kept me alive. And I want to share that with you as far as it pertains to money. Real quickly, look inside the description box, and there are some uh, opportunities there. Two of them are going to apply directly to what we're going to talk about as far as money is concerned. The other is for any aspiring authors. If you have ever desired to write a book and get published and you thought about it, you wonder whether or not you should self-publish, whether or not you should get a literary agent, whether or not you should um, pitch your book to traditional publishing houses and all of the other stuff that goes in book design, formatting, editing, all that stuff. If you want to learn the process from start to finish so that you can do it the right way, do it professionally, be able to promote your book pre-launch, post-launch, keep relevance, all of the things that it takes to get a book published and be satisfied with the work that you've produced and be proud of the quality of the work that you've produced, you want to check out this course. Um, there are several versions of it. This online course is, to me, a real good value, very low price point. You get in, you learn all the things you need to know as far as what it takes to get it done. We have a more intensive program where you work with me and my group, whether it's editing, marketing, the entire process. We walk you through it. And I personally coach the author through the writing process. If you haven't already got the manuscript done. If you got the manuscript done, we take it from there, we move on. But this is the primary basics. You learn the basics, you get things done. I literally learned this step by step myself. And those who know me know I've published 25 books, full-length books, meaning 200 words or more. Countless other books that fall under the category of what I call guides and how-tos and things of that nature that are 200 or less. Over 1,000 scholarly articles and tens of thousands of prose articles for my businesses and other businesses as well. Um, so this is something that I've spent a lot of time and energy and effort in doing over the years. And now I'm teaching authors how to do it. I also own a publishing company, Odyssey Media Group and Publishing. For authors who want someone to publish and get it done, we can handle that. But the link for you to learn the process, because what I try to do when I teach authors is to teach them from a perspective of being a publisher. Why? Because it gives you the business side of things. It gets you familiar with your target audience, because that's who you're writing to. And if you don't understand your target audience, if you don't have enough customer intel on your target audience, then you're going to have some issues and problems, and it's going to fall apart on the back end. Or it's going to take a whole lot of work to square up on the back end. So if you start from the beginning, understanding what you're doing, why you're doing it, and who you're doing it for, it works out so much better. And we teach all of this. So definitely, if you're serious about being an author, this is worth more than your time and the money that we're asking you for to take this online course. It's 100% online, videos, and written material. And we are constantly updating it and improving it. So again, check in there. All right. The others are self-explanatory as we move through this. If you followed me and you watch when I talk about the importance of understanding money, people talk about financial literacy and they talk about everything, and people have their different opinions about what financial literacy means. I think that everybody should be taught to understand money and how it operates, the difference between money and currency. Um, the ability to take what you have and do something with it. I have seen people with very little create substantial amounts of wealth over time. There's no get rich quick scheme. Every now and then there's a lightning in the bottle where something happens and it happens fast, but you should be prepared to build and build consistently and take the momentum and create these growth spurts, but understand that you're building not just for yourself, but for the future of your family, your lineage, your community. However you want to distribute your wealth requires you to understand the long-term implications of you simply knowing and understanding what it is you're doing. So with that being understood, one of the things that I've talked about in the simple elements and components of money, wealth is the result of what you do with the money you earn. The first thing is you have to be able to earn money. One of the things that I am very passionate about is creating the ability to control and leverage your income streams. Now, obviously, the vast majority of Americans, regardless of race, are hired and employed by someone else. That dynamic is changing for a number of different reasons. I'm not going to get into it today, but you're finding more and more people leaving the workforce and creating their own businesses. Some simply because they understand their value and they see the ability to leverage their skills and their gifts and whatever it is that other people are paying them to use. And they're going out and they're striking out and they're doing their own things. Others are seeing the writing on the wall and realizing that we are in the process of an industrial or technological revolution where things are happening at warp speed and in real time. And that means that there are opportunities out there to create in your own space online and literally create your own income. I am a firm believer that even if you have a job, a well-paying job, you need to leverage that with a minimum of 2 independent streams of income that you control. The more you control your income, the less you have to worry about outside forces completely Xing you out. It doesn't mean that you don't have to deal with the turbulence of markets, that you don't have to deal with changes and shifts in markets and economies on a global level. You do, but that's a part of learning business and developing the capacity to endure turbulent and difficult times. That's a part of business. It's a part of life. What you do when you leverage your income with additional streams of income. What you want are passive streams of income or semi-passive. Passive means that there are things that you can put your money into and they will, for the most part, produce revenue simply by being in play. Owning a rental home is one way to do that, where you're leasing it out every month, money comes in, even if it's something that you had to finance, the mortgage is being paid by the people who are renting from you. Now, obviously costs come with that and everything like that, but at the end of the day, there should be some passive income coming in. Eventually you own the property, and that's when it really starts to grow, and you can add to that. Semi-passive would be creating streams of income on the internet that don't require a great deal of time. Content sites, review sites, affiliate promotion sites, or if you really are ready and strong enough in your faith and confidence in what you do, you can create literally your first business surrounded about what you're passionate about and what you want to do. But businesses online, because you can create them and you can manage them in different levels, or you can actually bring someone in to manage them, doesn't necessarily have to be in your vein of passion. It can be simply a good money-making endeavor and you decide to get into it. But you need these. And one of the things that I did when the economic collapse happened in the early, in the 2000, 2006, 2007, 2008, and I took the hit I took along with a bunch of other things that went on in my life. And I found myself really in a bad situation, 2010, 2011. I decided I was going online. I wasn't going to do brick and mortar. I wasn't going to do as much face-to-face, work. I was going to create a capacity to share what I knew online and use my skill set online. Started out writing. That's why I have so much writing under my belt, and I can talk about publishing because that was the quickest way to start generating revenue. And I required a lot of my time because I was doing the writing myself initially. Okay, and then there are ways to scale that stuff out. The beautiful thing about the internet, it is perfectly designed for scaling. Anybody that understands building knows that as your business grows, you've got to have a strategy for how you're going to scale your business so that it can expand itself. Because literally, you can go through a process where the growth of the company will choke the life out of it because of the lack of capacity to fulfill the demand. And all of these things are things you learn and things we teach if you decide to go through one of those courses. But what I'm talking about now is developing the capacity to put yourself out there and just how simple the process is. In the beginning, I just developed and learned a strategy for how I could create uh, an online entity with little to no capital and bring it to profitability relatively quick. The first thing is find something that doesn't have a high cost. So I learned how literally when I started, my first site was a free site. I think it was Blogspot by Google. Google has something called blogspot.com where you can create a website or a blog and it's free, but it's just going to have blogspot.com behind your domain name or whatever you're naming it, but it still puts content out there. I literally launched off of that. And then I found out about other sites like Weebly, Wix, and a bunch of them later on down the line. Then I eventually became a master at WordPress. So I started creating WordPress sites. But the thing is, you don't need an entire site depending on what you're doing. You just need to know how to create landing pages. Landing pages are part of a funnel. A sales funnel is simply where you set up and you have what we would call a lead magnet, something that gets people's attention about something they want, and they're willing to get it. And sometimes it's get this free list, get this, download this, whatever it is. It's to get them in because what you're doing now is you're identifying people who are going to want something in the vein of what you're selling or what you're promoting or whatever. Now they come in, you have what you're doing is you're developing a list. The email list is still gold. That's the one thing that has not changed a lot over the evolution of what I've seen online in the last 20 years. But even if you don't have a list, there's a way that we teach you to go find the people you're looking for, how to do the research, how to find the people you're looking for, how to promote ethically, legally, and to keep yourself out of a bunch of heat. We teach you all of that. But there are two ways to do it. There is the 7-day online course that you can train and teach yourself. And there's also the we do it for you, the done for you. And we act in the done for you. Obviously, it costs more. But what we do is we actually build everything for you and we manage it until it comes to profit, meaning that we set up all the funnels, we manage all of the things, we set up the ad campaigns for you and everything like that. And we minimize upfront costs and we will manage it until it comes to profitability. And when we hand it over to you, we will stay around for an additional year as consultants. So that all of the things that are going to come up in that first year, which is going to be a massive learning experience for you, but we're going to be there to walk you through it, take away the anxiety, show you how to get it done, and show you how to scale out as you grow. There's absolutely no reason that anyone desiring to be a business owner isn't a business owner, period. Stop listening to conventional theory. Stop thinking that the only way to get anything done is through conventional practices and patterns. Understand that the most powerful thing that you have at your disposal is your creativity, your mind, your ability to imagine things that don't exist and then find a way to bring them into reality. That's where you're going to thrive in this world. Your ability to create a business, especially when you start talking about doing something in the vein of what you're passionate about, meaning that this is where you're going to hang your hat. I've got businesses in everything from Master Fitness 21, Odyssey Media Group, and publishing a bunch of things where I hang my hat, where my passion is helping people improve. Well, all of those do that in a certain way, but the Visionetics Institute is where I literally sit down with people or I speak to a group of people and I show them things that they don't see, or give them a different perspective of things they do see and help them change how they move based on their thinking and everything else, whether it's helping someone that's dealing with trauma from a childhood or helping someone who has a five-star company but wants to take it to another level. It's the same thing. You're going to have to change and go to a different level in thinking. And that's what I do. So that's where I hang my hat. But I've got all these other things going on too. Why? Because they are viable. And what I can tell you is when you get to that thing that you want to hang your hat on, your passion, it becomes real simple. There's this simple equation that tells you how to create a business. And is this: what does my skill set, what does my skill set or my gift provide for others that they need or they desire? I prefer needs, especially needs that are associated with things people perceive to be problems. Helping a person that's overweight and their doctor told them that they're in threat for a heart attack or they had a heart attack, whatever. That's somebody that has a problem they need solved. They need to know how to lose weight, how to do it quickly and healthy, and so on. Helping a person who is tired of struggling and needing some way to make a living, showing them how they can do that. That's helping someone that's literally destroying their lives because of past trauma, and showing them how they can release that trauma, how they can heal from that trauma. And I mean completely heal from it. I mean be able to become more empowered and more impactful in the world around them. That is the solution to their problem if I can help them do that. Well, what you do is you say, what is it that I'm great at? What is it that I'm good at? What is it my job pays me to do? How can I take that and personally apply it to problems that people have and give them a solution? Because all you're doing when you create a business is creating a solution to a problem, meeting a need. That's the first thing. If you have a skill set that meets a need, you have the foundation for a business. Now you have to be able to conceptualize how you're going to distribute, deliver, or present what it is that you're offering. But you have the foundation for the business. Now what you have to do is make sure that when you deliver it, you deliver it at a high level of quality, that you cover your contingencies. What things can go wrong? What is it? But the biggest part about it is as you identify what it is that you can do to help people, what problem you can solve, you also are going to be learning and familiarizing yourself with your target audience, because that's how you're going to eat, is by effectively and properly servicing their needs, their desires, and their problems. And so what you need to do is understand the importance of and the practice of and the strategies of accumulating what we call customer intelligence. That's gaining an awareness of who your target audience is, what drives their buying decisions, what's most important to them, what's their demographic and age group, and all of the other things. So that's going to also tell you, where am I most likely to find them? If I don't have a following already, where am I most likely to find them? Where can I share the links to my site, to my blog, to my landing page? Where do I go? How do I find them? All of this stuff is out there, but you have the foundation of starting a business. It's about finding where you fit in, finding how you service. And see, we're in a world where everybody's so focused on the end result that they don't understand the importance of getting there. The money is a byproduct of living in your purpose at the highest level. The more you're living in your purpose, the more you're giving, the more that you're serving other people and doing it well and effectively, the more it opens up and creates value in a certain space. You're as valuable as the work and the impact you have on other people. So if you're having a massive impact, your value in that community where your impact is felt will increase. It comes to a point. It's not about how much you offer. It's about whether you deliver something worthy of what you're charging. You could charge 50 cents, and if what you're giving ain't worth a dime, you're overcharging people. You can charge $25,000 for an hour. And if what you're giving is worth $25,000, and there are things that's worth $25,000 an hour, you got to get out of your old thinking, your tradition. There's definitely things that are worth $25,000 an hour. If I can get the right person in front of me and give them $25,000 out, and they can open the door for me to make $100,000 a month, you think that $25,000 wasn't worth it? But again, all of this is about changing your thinking, changing your approach. But at the beginning of it, it's just about saying, where's my value? Where's my value in the world? How do I service the world? How is my employer using what I'm great at to service their clients? Okay, how can I now use that as an employer, as a business owner, to touch the lives of people? You need to find your space. Now, here's the beauty of what we're talking about and what we offer with the 7-day online business launch or the done for you is you don't have to start in your passion. You have to start. I didn't start in the vein of the thing I was most passionate about. I started in a place where I knew what I was doing. I've been writing all my life. I started in that place, and then I just created other spaces through that. And then I realized, okay, this is the dynamic I'm going to use. I seem to be excelling in doing things this way. So now I'm going to bring forth the Visionetics Institute online. I'm going to do what I've been doing in person and limit it to the people who can get to me, to anybody who wants to get to me, anybody who wants to assess me from around the world. I have clients now in Australia. I have clients in the UK. I have clients in different countries in Africa. I have them in the Caribbean, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. I have them obviously in the United States and in Canada. And it all started because I understood the power of the internet to leverage. I just got off. Matter of fact, this morning, my first client on Monday is from the UK because obviously there's a 6 to 7 hour difference depending where they are in the UK and where I'm at in the United States. And so we normally get on in the morning time, which is afternoon for him. And sometimes it's afternoon for me and evening for him. But it's something that, again, here's the other thing that I love about the internet is if you set your thing up right, you can really truly manage global monetary volatility. And what I mean by that, there are a lot of people who keep up with the value of currency, and they understand that the dollar is fragile. Number one is because it's not backed by anything of value. It's basically a fiat currency that's basically being pushed by a powerful government, but it has no real value. And the fact that it's constantly being printed, even in the state it's in, it's reduced in value because the more something exists, the less valuable it is. Lack of scarcity with high demand is what increases value. We basically operate on what you would call a debt-based economy, meaning that the way that the value of the dollar stays relevant and still remains an international exchange currency is because of the ability to convince Americans to consume beyond the rate of your capacity to purchase. What does that mean? Buy things on credit. And the more debt that's accumulated, the more debt that is sold. Debt is valuable. Debt is sold all the time. If you've ever bought a house, you've realized that a lot of times before you make your first payment, your first mortgage payment, you're getting a notice from a different bank because they bought your paper. It's a term that's used in the industry. They sold your paper. What does that mean? They sold the loan to someone else. They cashed out on the loan, sold it to someone else. Now someone else owns the mortgage. And now you're paying them. That's because that's how debt works. People will buy debt, especially low risk debt. The problem is in the previous breakdown, it was going crazy. The debt was horrible because it was subprime, meaning that people were getting loans they couldn't afford to pay back. And banks were approving these loans and giving them out and selling them. And then what happened is eventually you keep selling bad paper. Everything crumbles. These houses are going into foreclosure for pennies on the dollar. I don't want to get into all of that, but the bottom line is you've got to understand your value in something and understand what you're putting. So the thing that I use is something that my great-grandfather, who had a second grade education, taught me. He said, you never have to worry about what you're charging somebody when you give them more than you give them more than what they're paying for. Give them value, give them more than what they're paying for. And that is the bottom line. When you show up, I mean, I did a free webinar last week. Everybody was raving about it. I mean, I gave them as much as a person probably would pay a couple $100 for it easily for free. And what does that tell them? Shoot, if we get the paid version, how much more are we going to get? You're going to get way more than what you pay for. If somebody pays me to come speak and they pay me for an hour, I'm going to give them an hour and 15, an hour and 30. It's just the way that you sit up and say, I don't mind making sure you got what you came for. When I work with a client, I'm going to ask before we sever out, when we have our last session, I'm going to ask, is there anything you feel you didn't get that you should have gotten? And and we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to say, is that something that we should have went for, or is it something that I missed? What? And I'm going to, if it's something that I should have gave them, the next few sessions that we're going to add on to the end is on me. It's just simply understanding business. But if you do it well, if you do it with quality, and here's the third thing, you find out what you have an answer to, what thing you can be a problem solver for, and you do it, but you do it at a high quality. That's two things. The third thing is you do it from a place of yourself. You use the uniqueness of your own design, your own personality, your own philosophy to deliver it. Why? Because that uniqueness in who you are separates you from everyone else who's going to do it. And so what that means is if they want it exactly how you do it, they're going to come to you. There are places right now that I patronize that there are just simple nuances to the way they handle me that's different from anyone else. And I'll go out of my way to go to them because that's what I want. And you have to understand, you have the ability and the capacity to do the same. So on that note, that's going to be it. So today is about leveraging your income with multiple streams of income that you control. If you want to get started on that, take the formula I used 12 years ago to start my online endeavor, and that I've used consistently since then, and tweaked and mastered and evolved. Take that, and the link is in there. I guarantee you it's worth 10 times what I'm asking for it. And you're going to get it, and you're going to get email access to me, meaning that even though you're taking the course and you're going through it, you're not stuck out there by yourself. I don't do that to people. In my courses, you will have email access to either me or someone on my team that is an expert in that area. I want people to really get true answers. I want people to have a sense of connectivity and belonging. So we invite you in, and literally, I get literally hundreds of emails a day. And I filter through them twice, and I respond within 24 hours. I think that the people who are taking their time to reach out deserve that. And so even when it's a self-paced course, you're still not alone. So keep that in mind. And for those of you who are ready to just go all in and know that you're probably not going to have time to follow through on doing something on your own step by step, or you just know for a fact that you're not good on following through on things like that, we offer to do it for you. Now, obviously, that costs more than it does for you to take the course and do it yourself, but we also manage it and bring it to profitability, meaning when you get your company, you have literally earned back the money you spent with us, and anything else like ad budgets and things of that nature. All that stuff is back to you. And now you are literally turning a profit. And we're going to stay with you an additional year as consultants to make sure that you have all the answers you need to grow your business. So it's up to you how you want to do this. But what I can tell you is there's no excuse for not owning your own business. There's no excuse for not taking control of your own financial situation. And no, this is not a get rich quick scheme. I'm not telling you you're going to jump on and you're going to make $10,000 in your first month. What I'm telling you is the potential to make $10,000 in a month that definitely exists. So what you got to do is you got to get out there and you've got to create this space. You've got to learn it. You've got to move around with it. And you've got to be as committed to this as you've been to your job for the last 15 years, the last 20 years. You've got to be committed to this as you've been to waking up every day and doing something that you may not love doing. But that is the thing. It doesn't mean you go out and quit your job. I'm not telling nobody to quit their job. What I'm saying is the job doesn't belong to you. It belongs to who hired you or who hired them. And at some point, they can determine that you are no longer valuable to the company, or they've gotten everything they can out of you, or it's just time to cut ties. You need to have some things that you control, that you wake up every day and you determine in your mind that this is what I'm going to do. And my family's going to be okay because I'm good at doing it. And even when it doesn't, I'm telling you, that's some tight months, especially when you're trying to grow your company and you constantly set your stuff is set up to cycle back in. And that's another thing. Don't start snatching money out of your company when you first start making it. That's to invest in its growth and its sustainability. One of the biggest mistakes we make is thinking because we made some money, it can be pulled out and spent. That's a consumer mindset. That's not a building mindset. A building mindset, I need to solidify and stabilize my business. And when you're going through a growth spurt, you say, man, all this stuff is going, but you're looking and it's sucking it up. Why? Because it's demanding something. It's demanding greater capacity, and it's going to create it or it's going to crumble. We could talk about all that at a different time, but what you need to do is understand that the capacity to start something that you control and you own is right out there. I mean, it's sitting right out there. You can even go out there and try to figure it out on your own. That's what I did. It took a lot longer than it would take you to do it because I've done it for you. But it's out there. So it's absolutely no excuse to be sitting around and not having the stability and the potential future that you talk about having, and keep waiting on the right moment. The right moment doesn't exist. The perfect timing doesn't exist. The perfect opportunity is created by you. On that note, look, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Thank you guys for stopping in. I hope that something I shared blessed you, but definitely, whether you are an aspiring author and want to take advantage of that course, or you're looking to get a bit online business going, go to that description box and find the thing that works for you. But what I can tell you is you're only going to get out of this life what you put into it. You're not only going to get what you're able to become. You don't get what you want, you get who you are. And once you understand that, things change. And what I want you to do is I want you to have the life that you deserve. I want you to have the life you desire. I want you to live life on full. And as I say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. Just means I'm not taking 1 ounce of my potential with me. Every day is going to get it all. Why? Because it doesn't come back. I've got 86,400 seconds in my day. I want every last one of them to count, whether I'm sleeping, whether I'm loving on my loved ones, my kids, or whether I'm working and building relationships or in the community, whatever it is, it should count, because the outcome of my life is going to be determined about what I do with those 86,400 seconds. Same applies to you. So what are you going to do with them? That's the question. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable remainder of your day.